Hey everyone, welcome back to the Love Inspire channel. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic that might just transform how you think about attraction and relationships. We're exploring the qualities that make men genuinely attractive to women beyond just physical appearance, the characteristics that create deep, lasting connections rather than just surface-level appeal. What if I told you there's a specific type of man that nearly all women find themselves drawn to? It's not about height, wealth, or even conventional good looks. It's about something much deeper, a constellation of character traits and behaviors that create genuine magnetic attraction. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what creates that powerful draw and how these qualities can be developed. The foundation: emotional intelligence. At the core of attraction is emotional intelligence, perhaps the most fundamental quality that draws women to men. Men who can identify and express their own emotions while also recognizing and responding to others' feelings create powerful connections that feel almost magical. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who just gets you? Someone who listens when you speak, remembers the details, and responds thoughtfully. This is emotional intelligence in action, and it's incredibly attractive because it creates a sense of being truly seen and understood. Studies consistently show that women rank emotional availability highly when choosing partners for long-term relationships. A man who can have deep conversations beyond surface-level topics signals that he's capable of true intimacy. He's not afraid to discuss hopes, fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities, his own and his partner's. This emotional intelligence shows up in countless small ways, noticing when someone is uncomfortable at a gathering and helping them feel included, picking up on subtle mood shifts and responding with empathy, or knowing when to offer solutions versus when to simply listen and validate feelings. Men who develop this capacity create relationships where women feel emotionally safe, a feeling that's absolutely essential for deep connection. When a woman knows her emotions will be treated with respect rather than dismissed or judged, she can open up in ways that create profound bonds. Authenticity is magnetic. In a world of carefully curated social media personas and pressure to project an image of perfection, authenticity stands out like a beacon. Women are powerfully drawn to men who are comfortable in their own skin and don't put on facades or pretend to be something they're not. Authentic men know who they are. They have clear values and live by them consistently. They don't shapeshift depending on who they're around or what will make them appear impressive. This self-assurance is compelling because it signals stability and trustworthiness, qualities essential for building a life with someone. What does authenticity look like in practice? It's the man who can admit when he doesn't know something rather than bluffing. It's being honest about his background without embellishment. It's having the courage to express unpopular opinions respectfully when they align with his values. It's acknowledging mistakes and growing from them rather than making excuses. Remember, being authentic doesn't mean never changing or growing. It means your growth comes from a genuine place rather than just trying to please others or fit a mold. Authentic men are committed to becoming their best selves, but they do so from a place of self-acceptance rather than self-rejection. This quality is particularly attractive because women know that what they see is what they'll get. There won't be a bait and switch after commitment where the man suddenly reveals his true self. In a dating world often filled with games and pretense, this straightforward authenticity is refreshing and deeply attractive. The power of purpose and passion. Have you noticed how attractive someone becomes when they talk about something they're passionate about? Their eyes light up, their energy shifts, their whole being becomes more animated and alive. Suddenly, they're magnetic in a way that transcends physical appearance. Men with purpose, whether that's their career, creative pursuits, community involvement, spiritual practice, or personal growth, naturally draw others to them. This isn't about being successful in conventional terms or having prestigious accomplishments. It's about having direction and enthusiasm for life itself. Women are attracted to this quality because it demonstrates that a man has depth, interests beyond the relationship, and the ability to find fulfillment independently. A man with purpose brings energy and excitement to a relationship rather than expecting his partner to be his sole source of meaning and entertainment. This passion creates a certain vitality that's infectious. When someone loves something deeply, whether it's creating music, building businesses, teaching children, protecting the environment, or any other meaningful pursuit, they bring that same capacity for engagement and enthusiasm into their relationships. Purpose also provides resilience during difficult times. Men who have a clear sense of what matters to them can weather setbacks and challenges without falling into despair. This stability is incredibly attractive because it means they won't crumble under pressure or become completely derailed by life's inevitable obstacles. Kindness, the underrated superpower. One of the most consistently attractive qualities in long-term studies of relationship satisfaction is kindness. Not performative niceness used to impress, but genuine kindness that extends to everyone, from the server at a restaurant to strangers on the street to animals and children. Small acts reveal character in powerful ways. How does he treat people who can't benefit him in any way? Does he show compassion to those who are struggling? Is he generous with his time and attention? Does he speak respectfully about people when they're not present? These behaviors signal that he'll be a supportive partner and potentially a nurturing parent, qualities that evolutionarily make sense as attractive traits. This kindness manifests in thousands of small moments. Helping an elderly person with their groceries, remembering his friend is going through a tough time and checking in, being patient with a struggling service worker, or going out of his way to make someone feel comfortable and included. True kindness comes from a place of emotional abundance rather than scarcity. Kind men don't feel diminished by building others up. They understand that compassion creates connection rather than depleting it. This generous spirit creates a sense of safety and warmth in relationships that's profoundly attractive on both conscious and unconscious levels. In a world that often rewards ruthless ambition and looking out for oneself, kindness stands out as an increasingly rare and valuable quality. Women recognize that a man who treats others with consistent kindness will likely extend that same consideration to them through all of life's challenges. Communication and conflict resolution. The ability to communicate effectively, especially during disagreements, is incredibly attractive because it's essential for relationship longevity. Men who can express their thoughts clearly, listen actively, and navigate conflict without aggression or shutting down demonstrate emotional maturity that sets them apart. This doesn't mean never getting angry or frustrated. Rather, it means processing those emotions in healthy ways and working toward understanding and resolution rather than winning or dominating. A man who can say, "I feel hurt when," instead of launching accusations, or who can ask clarifying questions instead of making assumptions, creates space for genuine connection even during difficult conversations. Good communicators make women feel safe to express themselves fully, knowing their thoughts and feelings won't be dismissed, used against them later, or met with disproportionate reaction. This emotional safety creates deeper connections and more satisfying relationships over time. Communication skills show up in many contexts. The ability to express needs clearly rather than expecting mind reading, checking understanding before reacting, being present and engaged during conversations rather than distracted, and finding words for complex emotions rather than shutting down. In conflict specifically, attractive communicators focus on understanding rather than being right. They look for common ground and mutual solutions rather than approaching disagreements as battles to be won. They can disagree without disrespect and find compromise without resentment. These skills don't always come naturally. They often require intentional development and practice. Men who invest in growing their communication abilities demonstrate both emotional intelligence and commitment to relationship health, a combination women find deeply attractive. Reliability creates security. Consistency might not sound sexy at first glance, but it's a cornerstone of attraction, especially for lasting relationships. A man who does what he says he'll do, shows up when he says he will, and follows through on commitments builds trust over time that becomes the foundation for deeper connection. This reliability creates emotional security, allowing women to relax into the relationship rather than constantly questioning where they stand. It's the feeling of knowing someone has your back, a powerful foundation for romantic connection that allows vulnerability to flourish. Reliability means being someone others can count on, not just in the big moments, but in everyday life. It's remembering to pick up something from the store when promised, being on time consistently, following through on tasks without being reminded repeatedly, and being emotionally present when someone needs support. This quality stands in stark contrast to the hot and cold behavior that creates anxiety and insecurity. Women are drawn to men who provide consistent, dependable energy rather than unpredictable engagement that leaves them guessing. Importantly, reliability doesn't mean boring predictability. It means being a solid foundation from which excitement and spontaneity can safely emerge. It's the security that actually enables greater freedom and joy in relationships because there's a bedrock of trust beneath everything else. Growth mindset. Always evolving women are powerfully attracted to men who embrace personal growth and continuous improvement. This doesn't mean constantly being dissatisfied with oneself, but rather approaching life with curiosity and openness to learning, changing, and becoming better versions of themselves. A growth mindset shows up as being open to feedback without becoming defensive, taking responsibility for mistakes rather than blaming others, actively working on personal challenges instead of avoiding them, being willing to try new things even at the risk of looking foolish, reading and learning regularly about topics that matter, seeking to understand different perspectives, working with mentors or therapists to overcome limitations, setting meaningful goals and pursuing them with discipline. This quality suggests that the relationship itself will continue evolving rather than becoming stagnant. A man with a growth mindset isn't fixed in his ways or resistant to change. He welcomes the journey of becoming better together, which creates excitement about the future. Growth-oriented men aren't threatened by their partner's development either. They celebrate their partner's achievements and support their aspirations rather than feeling diminished by them. This creates relationships characterized by mutual encouragement and shared evolution. The growth mindset is particularly attractive because it acknowledges that none of us are perfect while demonstrating commitment to improvement. It balances self-acceptance with the desire to become better, creating both stability and forward momentum. Emotional stability. While passion and intensity can be exciting, emotional stability is what makes relationships last through life's inevitable challenges. Men who can regulate their emotions, handle stress effectively, and maintain equilibrium during difficult times offer something invaluable: peace. This doesn't mean never showing vulnerability or suppressing emotions. In fact, appropriate vulnerability combined with overall stability creates a powerful combination, showing strength through honesty about struggles while maintaining the capacity to work through them constructively. Emotional stability manifests as responding proportionately to situations rather than overreacting, calming down after being upset rather than remaining agitated for hours or days, managing stress without taking it out on others, discussing problems rather than avoiding them or exploding about them, taking responsibility for one's emotional state rather than blaming others, having healthy coping mechanisms rather than destructive ones, being able to sit with uncomfortable feelings rather than immediately trying to escape them. Women are attracted to this quality because it means they won't have to constantly manage their partner's emotional state or walk on eggshells to avoid triggering disproportionate reactions. It allows the relationship to be a source of calm rather than another stressor in life. Emotionally stable men create an atmosphere where both partners can express their full range of emotions safely, knowing that doing so won't derail the relationship or create lasting damage. This emotional safety is fundamental to deep intimacy. Respect, the ultimate foundation. Underlying all these qualities is respect, for women, for others, and for himself. Respectful men value women's thoughts, autonomy, careers, and dreams equally to their own. They see women as full human beings with valid perspectives rather than objects or subordinates. This respect manifests in equal partnership rather than outdated power dynamics. Women notice how men talk about other women, how they handle rejection, and whether they truly see women as equals or merely as supporting characters in their own life story. Respect looks like actively listening to women's perspectives rather than talking over them, valuing women's contributions and ideas in group settings, speaking about women with dignity whether they're present or not, recognizing and challenging unfair treatment of women when they see it, understanding consent and boundaries in all contexts, seeing household labor and childcare as shared responsibilities rather than women's work, appreciating women for their complete personhood rather than just physical attributes. This fundamental respect creates the necessary foundation for all other positive relationship qualities to flourish. Without it, even the most charming or successful man will ultimately create relationships characterized by imbalance and resentment rather than mutual growth and satisfaction. Self-respect is equally important. Men who value themselves appropriately, neither inflating their importance nor diminishing their worth, have the inner security needed to engage in healthy relationships. They don't need constant validation or control to feel worthy, which allows genuine connection to develop. The balance of independence and connection. Women are attracted to men who maintain a healthy balance between independence and connection. These men have their own lives, friends, and interests, while also being fully present and engaged in relationships when they're together. This balanced attachment style provides both security and space, a combination that allows both partners to thrive individually and together. Men who maintain this balance aren't clingy or dependent, nor are they distant or unavailable. They occupy the healthy middle ground where both autonomy and intimacy can flourish. In practice, this means having close friendships and interests outside the relationship, being able to spend time apart without anxiety or controlling behavior, fully engaging when together rather than being physically present but mentally elsewhere, supporting their partner's independent pursuits and friendships, being self-sufficient in managing their own life tasks and emotional needs, not expecting their partner to be their everything or fulfill all their needs, being comfortable with both closeness and occasional separation. Women are drawn to this quality because it provides the best of both worlds, the security of knowing their partner is invested and committed alongside the freedom to grow as individuals. This balance prevents the relationship from becoming either suffocating or disconnected. Men with this healthy attachment style tend to be secure in themselves, which allows them to be genuinely supportive of their partner's growth and independence rather than threatened by it. This creates a relationship dynamic characterized by mutual freedom and mutual commitment, a powerful combination. Vulnerability and strength, the perfect balance. One of the most compelling qualities in a man is the ability to balance vulnerability with strength, to be open about feelings and struggles while also demonstrating resilience and capability. This combination creates depth that purely tough or purely emotional men lack. The outdated notion that men must always be stoic and never show weakness has been thoroughly debunked by relationship research. Women are consistently drawn to men who can show appropriate vulnerability, sharing fears, insecurities, and emotions in constructive ways that deepen connection rather than seeking constant reassurance. At the same time, demonstrating competence, determination, and the ability to handle challenges creates a sense of security. This isn't about traditional masculine stereotypes, but about being someone who can be counted on when things get difficult. The balance looks like being honest about struggles while actively working to overcome them, showing emotion without becoming completely overwhelmed by it, asking for help when needed while still taking responsibility, being open about fears while showing courage in facing them, admitting mistakes while demonstrating the strength to make amends, showing tenderness along with resilience. Men who master this balance avoid both extremes, neither the emotionally closed-off tough guy who can't create genuine intimacy, nor the person whose emotional needs dominate the relationship. Instead, they create connections characterized by both depth and stability. Presence, the art of being fully there. In our distraction-filled world, the ability to be fully present is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable. Women are powerfully drawn to men who can give their complete attention, making them feel like the most important person in the room rather than competing with phones, screens, or mental distractions. This quality of presence creates moments of genuine connection that stand out in a world of superficial interactions. When someone feels truly seen and heard, it creates an almost magnetic pull toward the person providing that rare experience. Presence manifests as making eye contact during conversations, putting devices away during meaningful interactions, asking thoughtful follow-up questions that show active listening, remembering details from previous conversations, noticing changes in mood or appearance, being attuned to the emotional undercurrents of an interaction, fully engaging in shared experiences rather than being mentally elsewhere. Men who develop this capacity for presence create experiences of connection that feel almost transcendent compared to the half-attention that characterizes many modern interactions. This quality makes women feel valued and important in a way that superficial compliments or grand gestures never could. Integrity, walking the talk. Few qualities are more attractive than integrity, the alignment between values, words, and actions that creates deep trustworthiness. Men with integrity say what they mean what they say, and act in accordance with their stated principles even when it's difficult or inconvenient. This consistency between inner values and outer behavior creates a sense of security that's essential for deep connection. Women notice whether men maintain their principles when tested or whether they bend their ethics depending on what's expedient in the moment. Integrity looks like being honest even when the truth is uncomfortable, maintaining boundaries even when tempted to compromise them, treating people with respect regardless of their status or usefulness, following through on commitments even when they become difficult, standing up for what's right even when there's a personal cost, taking responsibility for mistakes rather than hiding them. This quality becomes increasingly important over time as relationships face various tests and challenges. Initial attraction might be based on more surface-level qualities, but lasting attraction often comes down to this fundamental trustworthiness. Men with integrity create relationships where women can relax into trust, rather than constantly questioning intentions or worrying about hidden agendas. This emotional safety is a powerful foundation for both passion and partnership, humor and playfulness. While many of the qualities we've discussed relate to character and emotional intelligence, let's not forget the immense attraction power of humor and playfulness. Women are universally drawn to men who can make them laugh and who bring lightness and joy to everyday interactions. This isn't about being a comedian or having rehearsed jokes. It's about finding the humor in life, not taking oneself too seriously, and creating moments of shared laughter and play. This quality creates emotional connection while also making the relationship enjoyable rather than heavy or tense. Attractive humor is playful rather than cutting or sarcastic, self-deprecating without being self-pitying, finding absurdity in everyday situations, creating inside jokes that build connection, using humor to diffuse tension appropriately, laughing at oneself when things go wrong. Men who maintain a sense of playfulness bring vital energy to relationships that prevents them from becoming too serious or burdensome. The ability to be silly, spontaneous, and joyful creates a space where both partners can relax and be their authentic selves. This playfulness extends beyond humor to an overall approach to life that includes curiosity, spontaneity, and openness to new experiences. Men who can switch between serious conversation and light-hearted play create relationships with emotional range and depth. Putting it all together. The type of man that 99% of women fall for isn't defined by external markers of success or traditional masculine stereotypes. Rather, he embodies emotional intelligence, authenticity, purpose, kindness, communication skills, reliability, a growth mindset, emotional stability, respect, balanced attachment, appropriate vulnerability, presence, integrity, and playfulness. These qualities create attraction that goes far beyond physical appearance or material success. They form the foundation for connections that deepen over time rather than fading after the initial excitement wears off. What's particularly powerful about understanding these qualities is recognizing that they're not fixed traits that some men have and others don't. They're capacities that can be developed through self-awareness, intention, and practice. None of us are born perfect in all these areas, but with dedication to personal growth, we can cultivate these attractive qualities. For men watching this who want to develop these qualities, the key is approaching this journey not as a strategy to manipulate or impress women, but as a path to becoming a more fulfilled, balanced human being. Ironically, when you focus on genuine growth rather than trying to be attractive, you become far more magnetic. For women watching, understanding these qualities can help you recognize men with genuine relationship potential versus those who might look good on paper but lack the emotional foundations for lasting connection. These qualities are far better predictors of relationship satisfaction than conventional metrics like income, status, or even initial physical attraction. The good news for everyone is that as more people understand and value these deeper qualities, our collective relationship experiences improve. We move beyond superficial connections based on games or appearances toward authentic relationships that support growth and genuine happiness. Final thoughts. So rather than focusing on pickup lines, status symbols, or projecting an image, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not just to attract a partner, but because these qualities lead to a more fulfilling life overall. Work on your emotional intelligence, practice authenticity even when it's uncomfortable, develop purpose and passion in your life, extend kindness to everyone you meet, improve your communication skills, be reliable, embrace growth, cultivate emotional stability, practice respect, balance independence with connection, find the courage to be vulnerable, develop presence, act with integrity, and never lose your sense of humor and play. These qualities won't just make you attractive to 99% of women, they'll make you someone who creates value in every relationship and context. They'll make you someone who builds connections that matter and lives a life of meaning beyond the superficial metrics our culture often emphasizes. If you found value in this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone who might benefit. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on what makes someone truly attractive beyond the surface level. Which of these qualities do you find most important in relationships? Are there others you would add to the list? Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that real attraction starts from within.